they used to say that. Mama used to say that too. A hard head makes a soft tail. And I think, by you saying that, I wanna say to the people out there, I think we all go through that. I think food is so, it's always the bad food that is so good.
Yep.
And when you try to make a change, those cravings continue to kick in. You start missing all this food because it's a habit. It's very habit forming, and food can be very addicting. It's just like a drug. A lot of people don't realize that. That's like a drug.
Right, and that's why I get so upset when people, there's this big comic, and I don't know his name, but he has a platform where he makes fun of the people on that show, 600 Pound Life.
Oh, yeah. I think I know the comic you're talking about.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. It's not Bruce.
No.
It's not LeVar, because he just recently lost a lot of weight too.
Right.
I know the comic you're talking about. The name is going to come up soon.
Yeah, because he does reaction videos.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not a good idea what he's doing. It's
not.
Definitely not a good idea.
Because for many people, I was real heavy at one time, and I food. That's the thing. Food is comforting. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't,
Right.
So when you're going through things, the first thing you can think of is, let me get something to eat. That'll help me feel better.
Right. I can definitely contest to that. I agree with you because when my mom passed away, food became, and I was always skinny all my life. You were. Since we was kids, I was always bony.
Yes,
and when mom passed away, I started turning into food, and food became like my altar.
See,
instead of me believing in what I believed in, my higher power, which is God, I started making food like over God. I was eating every day, back to back, and I wasn't eating to live. I was living to eat.
True.
Some people have to eat to live, but I was living just to eat.
And
I abused it and learned a valuable lesson behind it, and to where I was forced to have to lose weight like yourself.
Right.
So I applaud you for, what you are doing. But going back, I don't want to get off subject. Going back to your workout regimen. Now I know you told us when it all got started what you had to go through.
Yes.
You had to go through what you went through. Unfortunately, in 2020,
right.
And I'm glad you are here with us to tell us and explain to us. But
absolutely.
So that's where the diet started. That's when the motivation, the eye of the tiger kicked in, so to say.
Indeed.
But
what I do right now, my work regimen right now is, every morning at about 6 o'clock, I get up and, I do my 2 or 3 mile walk. And what I learned about weight loss is that it's all science and math. If you consume more calories than you burn, you're going to gain weight. If you burn more calories, than you consume, you'll lose weight. So right now, my calorie intake every day is under 800 calories.
Wow.
But I burn 1,200 calories. Wow. So when you burn double the weight, you lose 13 ounces of weight a day.
Wow.
So you can literally lose 6-7 pounds a week by doing
amazing.
It. Yeah.
That is amazing. I got to give you a round of applause on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how you do it.
That takes a lot, especially where you came from, like the story you gave me, that takes a lot to get to that discipline area.
Right.
But with what you've been through, you had no other choice.
Indeed.
Like yourself, like myself, you still have, young kids.
That's right.
That you have to be here for. And
nothing
else matters but that,
That's right.
You living for your kids because they are the future. And
Absolutely.
I know you're very big on that. Which wants me, I want to get involved in another story with you as far as you getting involved in the Board of Education.
Indeed.
That's where I wanted to go with you. Speaking of kids, what was your motivation to that?
Well, in 2008, my daughter was receiving speech therapy.
Okay.
And it just stopped immediately.
Really?
And the guidance counselor came to me and said that the governor, at the time was Governor Christie, had, did something on the state level that cut the funding.
Wow.
So that's when I got involved with a group of parents, and we sued the district for compensatory services. So they had to give hundreds of students makeup services for the services that they failed to give them.
Right.
And after that, they said, hey, man, why don't you get on the board? That way you can keep us informed about what's going on. Because we don't hear much information. So I thought about it, and I said, okay. They said, when's the next election? They said, well, it's in April. So I said, all right. And so I didn't do it that year, but I waited until about 2012 to do it. And I ran in 2012 and won. Yeah. So that's kind of how that started. It started because I was worried about what was going on with my daughter.
Right.
And I found out that it was hundreds of other students in the same predicament. So I decided to get involved.
Right. You did it. I'm going to applaud you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
From going to a concerned parent to being active as far as doing what's right and getting involved with the laws and stuff like that, and just doing things to benefit for the kids. I never knew that they shut that down without even notice, like without even letting you know at first why. Wow.
They changed the funding.
Wow.
Yeah, what they did was he streamlined the funding, and that's the problem. It's not just he said, oh, we want to just do things in terms of equality,
right?
But it's supposed to be equity. So if one city is more distressed and they need a little bit more funding to help get their kids where they need to be,
right.
That's what you're supposed to do. But
makes a lot of sense.
But he streamlined everything, and it cut services.
Wow, unbelievable! It just shows like we definitely got to stay in tune with our kids. We don't pay attention to that. We let the government take over. They're gonna do whatever they want. That's why our voices mean a lot, and that's why I'm glad we got Corey L. Teague here. We got the activist. We got an active parent.
Yes.
We have the commissioner. Once again, that's another thing I want to mention, that he's definitely running again.
Yeah.
He's definitely running again. So look out for that. And we need you guys' support because we need this man back in the seat because he has made a difference since he's been in the seat. I've seen changes in the public school. A lot of other people have seen changes in the public school. And we want to keep it going. We want to keep it evolving.
Absolutely.
Because at one point, it was in a very dark space. At one point, because we didn't have enough people speaking up. One person can't do it alone.
No.
He needs you guys' support.
Indeed.
You know, definitely he can't do it alone. He's an advocator, but sometimes the advocator needs to be advocated too.
Indeed.
Because he's only a human being. So we need you guys' support. Please go out and vote for this man. He's running for the Commissioner of Board of Education again, and he's going to make a difference for our kids of tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So, wow, you have two amazing stories, but there's so much more to you than just the Board of Education and food. There's another side to you that a lot of people don't know. This man has many gifts.
Yeah.
I want to talk about also, and I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but I'm just so excited to have this man here. You guys just don't know how great he is in the city, in the community, and not only in Patterson, he's also out there in New York. He goes out to New York to try to make a difference out there too. So we're not just going to box him into one space. This man is all over. But I want to talk about what made you get into activism, because I see you all over TV. I see you on the news just like you guys. I know you guys see him on the news, see him on TV, see him on the council meetings. I want to know what got you inspired to do that. What was the motivation and when did it start?
Okay, that started in 2014. I know you guys remember Little Genesis Rincon.
Yes.
That's when it started. When she was shot by a stray bullet.
Yes.
It actually made it onto Netflix. You know, I was on Netflix for that.
Wow, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, but that's when I got started. When I was in that hospital and I saw the parents have to make that decision to pull the plug.
Right.
You know, and I'm out there in the hallway listening to the screams and that's at that moment I said, hey, I got to get busy in this community fighting for safety. And I went down to Trenton with signatures to get gun control and things straight in our community, and it's still a struggle, but that's how it started.
Wow.
But it was with Little Genesis. When I saw her get cut down like that, that's when I said, no, I gotta get involved with this as well.
Wow.
You know, that was devastating. You know, being in the hospital and seeing this family and being in the waiting room.
Right.
Yeah.
Losing such a beautiful young lady who had such a promising future.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think the whole world, at one time it was the city, but once it got on Netflix, the whole world was bleeding for her family.
Absolutely.
I mean, we all was affected and hurt. People from New York, down south, all over the world was talking about this young lady in Patterson.
Yeah.
Because I do remember getting a lot of phone calls from people down south, people in California, and they're saying, what's going on in Patterson, New Jersey? Because a lot of them knew I resided out here.
Right.
And it was the talk of the world, you know. It was the talk of the world.
Absolutely.
But I am so glad that you got active because we need that. We need that in the city. Like I said, this man wears many hats, and they're all positive hats. You can wear many hats And some of them don't be positive. There's a
Right.
lot of people who are wearing hats and falsifying them hats.
Indeed.
Them hats ain't what you think. It's an illusion.
Indeed.
But we got somebody right here that walks the city, walks around the city,
Yeah.
contributes to the city, tries to help the city as much as he can. But like I said, he can't do it alone.
No.
He can't wear all these many hats and be able to advocate for you guys if you guys are not willing to back him up.
Indeed.
I also want to talk about some things. And my heart goes out to the Genesis family. They definitely have my condolence. They had my condolence back then. They have my condolence now because it still feels very fresh.
Yeah,
It still feels very fresh. Now with that, I want to talk about what's going on with the Jesus family, Jesus family.
Yeah.
The Jesus. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I know this has been an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's 1 minute you hear this story, 1 minute you hear that story. I would like to know what is really going on with that, because that's like a mystery. He just couldn't have had vanished and disappeared off the face of the earth.
Exactly.
What is really going on with that?
To this day, he's still missing.
Wow.
And that's very it's very disconcerting
Right,
because there's no answers.
right.
Excuse me.
That's just so tough.
There's no answers, and that's the worst part.
Right.
The family is seeking an attorney, but there's still no answers. And that really is alarming, that you can have an encounter with the police
Right.
and then just disappear.
Yeah, that is very alarming. That's unheard of. There's no way they just dropped him off and he vanished. Because these are the when I checked and looked into the background of all that,
Right.
they said they dropped him off by the West Side Park, which is water. And first of all, it was a blue code that night. It was freezing that night.
Right.
Which means that when it's a blue code like that, people are allowed to go to the emergency room because
Right.
that's what the hospitals are there for, to
That's right.
protect you from the cold and protect your health, to keep you surviving. I don't understand why they didn't take him, even if they was rookies.
Right.
It's just a common sense. It doesn't take a mathematician or a rocket scientist to figure out that somebody's not in their right state of mind. They're incoherent.
Right.
They have been drinking. This is somebody's family. This is
Absolutely.
somebody's uncle. This is somebody's father. This is somebody's brother. And they should have took that under consideration, that he's a human being. He's not an animal.
That's right.
And from what I gathered, they took him supposedly up there by the West Side Highway and freezing cold temperature
By the river.
by the river, where they said it was other people was at, and he was
Right.
drinking the rest of the night. The other people. I don't know if I believe that story.
Me
I don't
neither.
know if I believe that. That
Me
just
neither, bro.
sounds so far fetched.
Yep.
And it's just a sad story, and my heart really goes out to the family. Very hard.
I'm afraid the guy walked down and fell in the river. I'm serious.
God.
I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm afraid that's what
God.
happened. Because they didn't even tell the family till a week later.
What?
So if he fell in the river, he was gone by then.
Oh my God.
It was a week later when they finally was trying to figure out where was Felix. And
Wow.
they finally told him what happened. At first, they told the family that they had no interaction with him. Then, when they got the footage, they had to say we did have. But it was already a week later, man.
They was trying to build that cover story.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. They was trying to
Yeah.
build up a cover story, an alibi.
Yeah.
You know, because they knew that the pressure was on them now. They just thought he was going to be some regular man and it'd
Absolutely.
disappear, not realizing this man had a lot of people, still does, like yourself, like his family, like me, that cares about him in the community. This is a human being.
Absolutely.
Not no garbage disposal. This is a human being. And we want to express that. And I want to send a message out there to those. I'm not saying all those cops that are, you got some good, you got some corrupted. But to the corrupted ones, believe me. And I have my voice out here and he has a bigger voice. We're coming for you.
Right.
You better do the right things. 'Cause
Exactly
we're coming
right.
for you.
Yes.
Trust and believe. We're
Yes.
coming for you. These are people's, has family, has kids, has a life. We're coming for you.
Yep.
So just listen to this message. And whenever you think about that you don't want to do the right thing, just listen to this message.
listen.
We'll be right there.
That's exactly
We'll be
right.
right there.
right.
Like I said, my heart goes out to the family and stuff like that. We definitely support the family, and we wish them the best. We wish them best on getting closure, because right now it's all about closure.
Exactly.
We need closure. They need closure more than anything. The family is bleeding. The family is hurting. The family is disappointed. you know, and these are supposed to be our heroes out here that's out here riding around these patrol cars.
That's right.
And it's more like they're our enemies.
Indeed.
You know, we're more scared of them than the criminals out on the street.
Right.
Because these are criminals with badges on, you know, and that's the scary part.
Exactly.
You know, so my heart goes out to that situation. I wanted to ask you too, Corey, what do you have going on in the future? What is the plans for the future? I know your hands are into a lot of different things in the city. What is the future looking like for Corey L. Teague?
Well, I mean, right now I'm in the process of training some younger activists.
Awesome.
Between the ages of 18 and 25.
Ooh, you hear that, parents out there?
The next generation, yeah.
Everybody that's inspired, listen to this.
And we're going to form. We formed an academy last year for that.
Awesome.
Just specifically for activists. Right now we're in Brooklyn. I want to bring it to Patterson. Hopefully their minds are a little more open.
Right.
And we can get it going in Patterson.
Definitely.
This next generation, if you don't give them a blueprint, they're going to just wander off and do whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't want to lose a whole generation to the streets.
Definitely don't. You know, because our kids are involved too. Me and him still have young, impressionable kids.
That's right.
And we want to dismiss this stigma called demon time. We want to dismiss that word. I don't like the word. I don't know where the word has came from, but I've been hearing this a lot. These kids are on demon time. We just want to dismiss that. These kids are still human beings because it's taking away the normalcy away from our kids. It's making it seem like our teenagers are not normal. They don't have feelings. They do have feelings.
They do.
Their feelings are just not being challenged.
That's
it's being dismissed. Because when you say demon time, that is energy that will sit and manifest in them. And these kids will really think they're demons. So we have to be very careful on the word uses that we use. People say words don't mean a lot. Yes, they do mean a lot. People take words very serious. That's why a lot of people are in them grave sites right now, them graves, because of words.
That's right.
Words have gotten a lot of people killed.
Yes,
you know, so we want to dismiss that word demon time, and we want to put hope, faith, aspirations, ambitions. We want to throw that into the vocabulary. Those are the words that used to be in the vocabulary, especially when we was coming up.
Indeed.
Faith, hope, ambition, and, you know, dreams and goals. You know, and I always say a dream is a goal with no legs. You got to put them together and make them walk. And we can install that in our kids.
Yes, we can.
And this man is doing it. He's doing it. But like I said, once again, this has been my message. He can't do it alone.
That's right.
You know, it takes a village.
Yes.
It takes a village. I still believe in that. It takes a village to raise a child, but we all got to be on one accord and be on one mindset.
That's how it was back on 23rd, bro.
That's how it was. When we was growing up, they looked out. The whole block looked out. When we did something wrong, oh, you better trust and believe our parents knew it. You know, because that's when we were a community and not a neighborhood.
That's right.
See, there's a difference. And that's something that our kids need to learn about too, that they're not teaching about community and neighborhoods. There is a big difference.
Huge difference.
A big difference. Yeah, the community is involved. The community is active. You know, we want to change that neighborhood to community. And we can do it.
Indeed.
If we just stick together. Because everybody else is doing it.
Absolutely.
While we're spinning the block, these people, other people out here building houses, building more stores at your corner. And your so-called neighborhood that we want to become a community.
That's right.
These people are doing that, and they're taking the money and they're taking it back to their community, and they're letting that money build and reciprocate. Meanwhile, we're spending money. Well, we don't need to be spending money. We need to be spending it with us that we can build.
That's right.
So let's change that stigma to community instead of neighborhood. But we got to stick together. We got to keep fighting because it just doesn't stop. You know, once we get it there, we got to keep it there and keep it going because it's going to go from generation to generation.
That's right.
These kids are only going off what they see.
Yeah.
And if they don't see any strong leaders, if they don't see any active parents, if they don't see these parents active, then these kids are going to turn to the only thing they know, which is going to be the streets. The streets will become their home. That will be the only thing you know if we're not there.
Yep.
You know, not just being in a house and being in the house, but you got to be mentally there with them. There's a lot of parents that's in the home, but not really in the home.
In the home, exactly.
You know, so those are things we need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
Yeah, I mean, even, you know, getting into the streets, you have these young men out there and they're territorial. This is my block. You don't own a single house on that block.
Exactly.
But that's your block. You don't own anything on that house.
Right.
We have to change our mentality. You know, we don't own a thing on that block.
I agree.
Your block.
I agree.
Come on now. we got to change that.
We definitely got to change that. We definitely got to change that whole tune of this is my block. You don't know the history of the block. You don't know when the block was built.
Nothing.
All you know is your shoes is hanging up on the side of the wires, which makes it your block. Those are my shoes up there, hanging up there on the light pole.
It's crazy. It's insane.
But we definitely, I have so many things I want to talk to you about. I know we don't have enough time. We're going to have to make a part 2 because I want to touch on some real topics dealing with, because this has been a talk amongst me. A lot of people has been sending comments. A lot of people are sending things to my inbox. I want to talk about the conscious community.
Maybe Friday. What are you doing Friday?
So Friday we're gonna do a part 2.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk on the conscious community because this is gonna be a long segment.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people have been asking about these titles.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be live so everybody can chime in and engage and debate. I mean, it's gonna get intense.
Yes.
Because when you're dealing with stuff like that, dealing with the conscious community and all that stuff, it really gets intensified. Because if anybody knows about the conscious community, you know they are very intense people.
Yes, they are.
They are very strong in what they believe.
Yes, they are.
And we're definitely going to touch on that. So anyway, I'd like to thank Corey LT. Please look out for this gentleman. He is running for the Commissioner of Education, Board of Education Commissioner. Please stay tuned to him on Tuesday nights at the council meetings. Please, y'all stay tuned to that. And y'all can come and contribute. Y'all can come physically too and watch it on TV.
Oh, yeah.
However you may like it. But tune in and be looking out for his future endeavors because he has so much coming to the community. And remember what he said about the young people. The young people can also get involved. They are training them. They are getting them seasoned to become young activists. They need more people like him.
Oh, yeah.
We need more people. We need more activists of tomorrow, you know? So please stay tuned and be on the lookout for Corey T. I appreciate you coming, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Oh, yeah. I'll be back Friday.
Definitely. Peace and blessings.